Now, Kevin, to kick this one to you, with the way the Eastern Conference is set up as far as the standing goes at this current moment in time, who do you think is a team in the top five that could not only have a great playoff run, but that could potentially get to the finals this season?
I gotta be honest, it's the team in which we both said was going to shock a lot of people, and that is the Chicago Bulls. DeMar DeRozan tonight has hit his eighth consecutive 35-point game, which is two away from Michael Jordan's all time record as a Bull. Obviously, you have the stellar play of Zach LaVine, and then you go and you add another dominant veteran like a DeMar DeRozan. You go and make an acquisition with Alonzo Ball and Alex Caruso and draft a Kobe White, and then of course you make the trade for Vucevic. You have yourself a relatively deep, consistent, and high-scoring offense that is also playing at a very, very good defensive level. They're doing it in all phases. They're finding ways to win games. DeMar DeRozan is like the fourth quarter god in Chicago right now. And then, of course, they're not even healthy right now. That's the crazy part. Lonzo and Caruso have been out for quite some time. So you really looking at this and they're saying, wow, they're doing this without two of their best players and two of their arguably best defenders. DeMar DeRozan's doing this in his 30s. Like, Vucevic is finding his rhythm again, like he did in Orlando. Kobe White is fighting for a Sixth Man of the Year award. I just It's really hard to combat them when you look at other teams and say, well, what is it that those teams have that Chicago doesn't? Milwaukee's got Giannis, and he does a lot of different things. But in terms of clutch performance, he's leading, or if not in the top NBA scoring, just like Giannis. He's defending very well, and he's contributing on the offensive side of the ball as well. You got Chris Middleton, a good shooter. Zach LaVine's a good shooter. You have Drew Holiday, a good defender. When Lonzo Ball gets back, he's actually having a career year from behind the arc at 42%. So he's a shooter, and we all know Lonzo Ball can defend and rebound. So I'm not trying to make a comparison and say that they're equal, but I'm saying that each team has something of their own that the other does not, or that is comparable to the other. And I really think that with the veteran leadership of DeMar DeRozan and, of course, Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, I really think this team is poised to make not just a significant playoff push, but they 100% can achieve the NBA Finals.
Yeah, Kevin, I mean, I fully understand where you're going with the Chicago Bulls in this case. I'm going to go against the grain, though, on this one a little bit. I'm going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to get back-to-back finals appearances, and here's why. When I look at the Bucks from a standpoint this year, from a overall standpoint, the Bucks have been very consistent this year. They've largely held themselves in the top four seeds throughout the entire year. And once again, Giannis is playing at a superstar level. I mean, we were just going over a segment about who's at the top of the MVP race right now. And Giannis is without a doubt in the top three compared to Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. You have to add Giannis in there because the guy is almost averaging 30 points a game. The guy is just an absolute monster down low, and he is known to facilitate a little bit here and there in stretches. So you tie that in with the role players that they have at their disposal. Chris Middleton, once again, very consistent jump shooter. He was huge for them in specific games in their playoff run last year when they won the finals. And once again, he's just a model of consistency. He's a great number two option that Milwaukee has, and he's lived up to that expectation of that number two role extremely well. You got Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, granted, he can be hit or miss offensively, but you have to admire what he's able to bring on the defensive front. Because I'm not saying that he's like a lockdown defensive player, but you have to respect the fact that when he's in that zone, he can literally change an entire complexion of a game if he's making a steal or two when it matters the most. We saw that in the finals last year multiple times when he was able to come up with some big plays on the defensive side of the ball that really helped Milwaukee win that title last year. And then when you really look at the rest of the Bucks as a whole, you know, the Bucks are getting great contributions from their bench as well, or just role players by and large. you can look at guys like Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis has always been somebody that has just been there when they need it the most to come off the bench and provide a spark. Because really, to me, Bobby Portis is like that energizer bunny for that Bucks team. You know, Giannis goes out there and dominates. He's their superstar. But Bobby, he provides a great role for that team for just providing a spark, really getting the crowd into it. And he can make some big plays down the stretch moving forward. And I also like the fact that they have Serge Ibaka on their bench. Granted, Serge Ibaka has always been known as a great defensive presence in his time with the Oklahoma City Thunder, with the Toronto Raptors for a little bit. Now he's with the Bucks. He's coming off their bench, typically playing about 20, 25 minutes a game. You have to respect what he's able to present down low in the paint because he can grab boards. He's a decent jump shooter, and he's known to get a couple blocks here and there. So, I'm just going over a couple of those role players, and I think when you look at this team as a whole, they have the pieces to not only make a great playoff run this year, I think they have all of the pieces to possibly get to a finals appearance once again. Now, I will say that the Eastern Conference is more competitive recently than it has been when LeBron James pretty much owned that conference from 2010 to about 2018. So there is a lot more parity when you look at, I guess, the power structure of the Eastern Conference. The Bulls are having a great year, like you mentioned. The Heat are having a great year as well. But when I look at the Bulls have been there. The Bulls know how to get to that top of the mountain in the NBA. When you look at the Heat, when you look at the Bulls, they're having a great year, but we don't know how that's going to translate into playoff success. I'm going to side with a little bit of history on this one. I'm going to go with the Bucks just because I think that history is going to do them well when they get into a playoff situation in April, May, and potentially June. That's just how I see it, but I got the Bucks in this one.